No, we are back at it. Push day, really emphasizing on chest. Keeping it very fundamental, keeping it basic, not too many supersets, just going with fundamental workouts, fundamental exercises. Rep range is going to be pretty high. It's always going to be high volume. But do one more warm-up set, then we'll start adding some weight. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It doesn't stop. We got to keep it pushing. We got to keep it moving. One minute we get back into it. Yeah, Mark, we have to change the name. We have to evolve a little bit. I felt like this name represents what I'm trying to do and what I want for you guys. So I changed it. But we're still swole, we're still funded. But when I think about the fortified man, for those who don't know, fortified, to make like a knife or a sword, you got to constantly beat that metal, heat it up, beat it down, heat it up, beat it down. That's how it becomes stronger. And I think that's been just the story of my life, you know? Oh. So guys, we're going lighter. We're going lighter in the weight. Like I said, I'm really focusing on range of motion. I'm really focusing on just getting a high volume. So you'll see the weight is obviously way lighter than what I would normally do, but it's necessary. Once I start getting back into try to put the size on, bulking up, then the pounds will change. We'll go back on heavy. But right now, I've been seeing so much result in growth. Not a ton of growth, but I've been seeing results just going with this lighter weight, focusing on range of motion, really working on that squeeze and the time over tension. That's been something that I've been really focusing on. I can't do that when I'm having 3-4 plates on here. And I found that now, man, the pump has been better. I'm seeing, because my goal right now is I'm trying to put on muscle. The goal is muscle tissue. I'm not trying to be the strongest. I'm not trying to be the most explosive. Right now in this period, we are trying to focus on muscle growth. So with saying that, I have to train for that. That's going to be the objective. 30 seconds. Well, 1 minute. 1 minute. Yeah, right now, so I'm weighing in about 213 right now. Like I said, the weight's been coming down very, very well. Still feeling strong, obviously, not as strong as I used to when I'm like 230, but I'm not sacrificing a ton of strength. So that's been a blessing. And really the most important thing has been the recovery. Taking legitimate time out to recover, taking legitimate time out to heal. Still train every day, but now I'm getting my massages. I'm getting work on mobility. Really dedicating, allocating time to stretching. All those things are necessary, right? So I've been doing that. Especially, you guys know I'm an old man, so I got to do it. About to get back into it. So with the bar path, I think my starting point is like when the bar is right by my shoulder. Once I'm able to get my hands locked in, it gives me a nice pathway. You have to find, everyone's gonna be different, but I just found it for me, having the bar across like my shoulders, right at my shoulders, when I start to push and execute, it gives me the good pathway that I'm looking for. Australia in the building. What is going on? And I appreciate that sub. Thank you so much. What time is it out there? I've always wanted to visit Australia. Actually, I'll be out there pretty soon. I might actually be out there this year. Listen to this guy. Like and subscribe, guys. It helps. Guys, we'll move on to dumbbells. Let me just strip this down. 2 in the morning. Nice. It is 12 noon out here. Norway in the building. That's crazy. Shout out to Norway. What time is it in Norway? Guys, I had carbs. I had some carbs last night. I'm feeling good. Yesterday was like, I probably haven't had that much carbs in months. It was planned. It was gonna be a carb load day. So it wasn't anything crazy. It was about just like a cup and a half of rice, along with with my other meals. But man, it felt so good to have some carbs. It was crazy. So I think I'm gonna do another refeed day today as well. Just like I've been feeling just very flat. Like the pumps have been getting a little bit tough to get lately. So I'm like, man, it's time to get some carbs back in the system. So we're gonna do another, not a huge carb load. I'm probably only gonna do maybe, I'd say 200 grams of carbs. Just so I can feel a little bit full. I'm just feeling extremely flat. It's hard to get a pump. So no excuse, but guys, appreciate it. Hit that like button too. Let's get the likes up. All right. So we're going high volume today, guys. A ton of volume, high rep count. Like I said, I'm really focusing on the squeeze. I'm not trying to be the strongest in here today. Let's get some dumbbells. Got some 75s. Guys, we're gonna knock out these 75s. So guys, like I was saying before, I am focusing on range of motion, time over tension. So yes, I'm using extremely lightweight versus what I would normally be doing, but it's part of the goal of I'm trying to put muscle on. I'm not trying to be the strongest in here or nothing. My goal over the next couple of months, really after this cut's over, but we're putting on muscle. So I'm probably gonna keep this cut going through the summer, and then we're gonna start bulking up again. And even when I'm bulking up, like I said, the goal, we're gonna keep it high volume. We're putting on the muscle, completely change how I'm training now. If I'm working on explosivity, if I'm trying to be, trying to work on strength, yeah, I'm training differently. But we are putting on muscle. That is the objective. So I'm training for it. So people have jokes about I'm not the strongest, I'm not that strong. I'm not trying to be. How does how does the physique look? That is my objective. How is the aesthetics? That's what we're working on. And the supplements are low, guys. Like I said, the supplements are very low. People think I'm on A to Z. Nah. Nah. Because also understand, I'm an old man. I'm 42. So for me, I know, I can't compete with these young guns that are half my age. So right now, for me, the objective, I'm trying to slow down the clock. My old ass is just trying to slow down the clock. I still want to be doing this for the rest of my life. Nike, I wouldn't say all that, but I appreciate it. But really though, like I said, I'm 42. Okay, so I have no aspirations to compete or anything like that. So for me, I'm not trying to be an old fart who doesn't, we all know some guys in their 40s who look crazy, right? I just didn't want to be that. So we're just trying to slow down this clock. All right, guys, ready for another set? And guys, if you are in here, you are getting value from the stream, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to grow this thing. If anyone is interested in training and coaching, reach out. I also have a workbook. I know I'm plugging a lot. I know, guys, you got to forgive me. I have a workbook, 30 days, a 30-day workbook on standards. I've been doing this now for 20 plus years, ups and downs in life. But I had a certain standard that said, you know what? Do not stop freaking training. I've been training for as long as some of you guys been alive. Okay. Let's get it. Right now, it's low calories. So I'm doing about 2,800 in calories right now. So like I said, I'm dieting down. So nothing too crazy. I keep it so simple. It's just what's the easiest way I get them in. Basic meat, whatever carb source. Super simple. It's pretty much the same thing every day. We'll stick with the 75s. But I am doing for carb load today. So today is going to be another maybe 2.5 cups of rice. Just getting those carbs back in the system. Well, other than that, yeah, high fats, high protein, making sure, and I am doing a ton of shakes, trying to get at least 200 grams of protein a day. That's keeping the metabolism pretty good. Anything lower than that, my metabolism starts to slow down, and I don't really drop. I really don't see much of anything in terms of like dropping. At 2,800 to 3,000, that's been like a good range where I've been having a consistent drop. And then cardio's been like an animal. Volume, volume, volume. Every exercise is going to be a minimum of 5 sets, and I'm going 15 reps minimum. Ugh. And guys, if you are interested, like I said, reach out. I'll set you guys up with your workout plan. Appreciate it. More work to be done. More work to be done. Yep, that pump's coming in now. We're feeling that's what we want. Now is when it starts to count. Now we have the blood flow coming in. You guys notice the range of motion. I am making sure we're getting full range of motion throughout. I will go down to a 40-pound dumbbells if that means I'm going to get a better range of motion. Got to stay uncomfortable. Mandatory we stay uncomfortable, especially as an old man. The minute I get comfortable, I become an old fart. The minute I get uncomfortable, I become an old fart. That's when I'm really feeling my age. I forget sometimes I'm damn near an old man. I forget. Sometimes. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, I'm like, okay, yeah, these knees are hurting. I wake up some mornings like, okay, these joints are aching a little bit. All right, let's go again. Let's go again. And then from here, we're gonna go to, I think I wanna go to the pec deck, standing pec deck. Ugh. Ugh. Mm. Mm. I don't know how many kilograms this is. It's 75 pounds. What's the conversion rate? I don't know. It's pounds over here. I'm sure you guys can lift more than me. I'm sure. Let's go one more, and we'll hit that standing pec deck. Nope, we're keeping this through all the sets. Like I said, it's a high volume, high rep count today. Like I was telling everybody else, yes, I could go heavier, I could go this, I can go that. That is not the objective. I am trying to get blood into this muscle group. I'm trying to focus on hypertrophy. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, and funny, I turned 42 last month. Last month was my birthday. So still at it. Still at it after 20 odd years, still doing it. That's the thing. And that's really, you really said it perfectly. That's what happens. You settle, you get comfortable, and society makes it easy. They want you to get comfortable, guys. I'm telling you. Look how much everything is just so convenient. The world wants you to be soft, and the ones who control it, they benefit off of it. QC, they want you to get comfortable, guys. Don't allow it. I'm telling you, that's how they make money. They want you complacent. Let's work. Guys, let's take a walk. Let's take a walk, guys. And of course, they're all taken. All right, a little pivot. We'll do seated. We'll do seated. All right. Not the favorite one, but this will do for right now. Actually, perfect. Let's move to this one. $215, and I am 5'8". Represent for the short kings, my brother. I appreciate it. This diet's been kicking my ass, though, I won't lie. But if anyone is interested in getting their diet plan together, their workout plan, reach out to me, shoot me a message. Probably the easiest way, just hit me on IG and I'll get you set up. But I think one of the hardest parts also is dialing in the cardio. You know, on top of the weight training, then I do jujitsu as well, but it's the cardio that is so easy to kind of, avoid it. So right now I'm doing about an hour cardio a day. I'm going to start taking one day where it's no weight training, and I'm going to solely focus on cardio, and that's going to be like a 2-hour cardio session. So appreciate it. And thank you to anyone who hit that like button. We got 6 likes. Thank you guys. I know it sounds like a broken record, but the more likes, it just lets YouTube know you guys are rocking with the channel. So it helps. But yeah, but it's like, dial in that cardio. And even the cardio, it's not hard, but it's just, who cares about cardio, right? But it's necessary. So I'm doing a combination of, I like to run. Even my big ass, I can still run. I'm doing Stairmaster and then incline walking, just a steady state walk. I am big on zone training. So I try to keep my heart rate within zone 2. So that just really requires, the Stairmaster, a brisk walk uphill. And I just personally like to run, still. Get that stretch when you do these. Kimbo Slice. I've heard that too many times. 2 more sets. Appreciate you guys hanging out on the stream today. You guys keeping me accountable. I like that. Heart rate is at 126. This is where we want to be at. This is where we want to be. I don't even know if you guys can see it. 123. So that's my zone 2. So stay in zone 2. It's been shown that that's an adequate zone for burning fat. Anything higher, you start getting some more anaerobic, and that's not really conducive to what we're trying to do, right? So it's all about what is their objective. I don't care about doing this because it's the new trend. I don't care about any of that. What is the goal? What is the objective? What are you trying to work on? All right, train for that. I made so many mistakes back in the day. It's like just hopping on the newest thing. Like I just want to, whatever's the latest trend, I was doing it. And I wasted a bunch of time. People are wondering, like, with the lightweight, for example, guys, you can achieve whatever the hell you want to achieve, whether you're on supplements, no supplements, because you have to understand the biggest thing with the supplementation, at the end of the day, you still got to put the work in. I know people who have a budget of like $1,500 a month on supplements and they look like absolute trash. So the thing with that is, regardless of natural, enhanced, this and that, before we even get into that discussion, are you going to have the discipline to stick with it? I think that's the biggest thing people need to understand. And listen, if you are young, in your 20s, in your teens for that matter, your hormone levels are so freaking high. You don't need anything. Like that's the other thing I don't understand. Where people are lacking is just the follow through. I think that's the biggest thing. And take it from somebody, I got to keep using my age. I'm 42. I've been doing it for 20 plus years. The follow through, the follow through, the follow through. Because something else to think about, once you do get to that certain level, right? You get to that swole level that you want. You get to that level of being jacked that you want. Are you still going to have that same hunger and desire to stick with it, to keep on pushing? Or are you going to start to slack a little bit? Oof. 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 That's the real question. Keeping the hunger. I have no idea. Now, mind you, I'm wearing a very tight ass shirt, but I think it's like just 20s. Nothing. It does look kind of crazy from this angle, but honestly, the shirt's just tight. If I was to move it, well, it still looks crazy, but yeah, they're nothing wild. Go one more, guys. Sorry. Oh, hold on. Man, that's an awesome question. How do you know when you're ready for a cut? Man, I really like that question. So I'll even use like when I work with my clients, even out here, right? So I like to start the cut relatively fast because I want to see what we're actually really working with, or let's get a body fat percentage test and we could truly know, like, hey, okay, man, we're at a 15% body fat and you're hovering around and you weigh this amount. Because at the end of the day, we need to just get numbers in a baseline. I want to usually go pretty quickly into a cut so we can just get off that excess unnecessary weight, kind of see the aesthetic a little bit, kind of see the build, and then we can assess from there, you know, because far too many times people go into this wild bulking phase and they just get basically just chunky and fat. They look ridiculous. So let's strip all that unnecessary fat down, see what we're working with, see where we're at, what are the goals, What are you trying to get out of this? Then we can say, all right, let's go into a bulk, let's go into a cut. It's not a cookie cutter answer. You know, like for me, for example, I have this wild goal that I'm trying to hit, right? So my where I'm trying to get to is freaking crazy. So, and I know to get there, I want to get extremely low in body fat first because the next bulk that I'm doing is going to be pretty serious. Like I really want to push that scale kind of crazy. I want to put on a lot of muscle. So before I get to that point, I want to get to a low, low, low body fat. Right now, I think I'm around 10% body fat. I want to go into single digits, hover there for a little bit, and then we're going to go crazy with the bulk. Now, also, this is kind of like my billboard, right? Like my physique is like my business card. I work in, I'm not, I work at I have different businesses, but this is my billboard. So I do have to always make sure, okay, what am I trying to get at? I can't get too I can't get too out of hand. I can't get too sloppy, right? So I always have to always be mindful of like, hey, this is your business card. Yes, we can get on a bulk, but we can't get out of hand, right? So I know I was kind of all over the place with that answer. No, but if you're just starting to work out, you know, just having a set diet plan, you're probably going to start losing weight because you're not going to be all over the place with your eating. You're going to have more structure, you have more discipline. So just with that alone, you're going to already kind of go into a bit of a deficit, already into a cut, to be honest with you. Once you get your training structured and you're training a little bit more diligently, just with the amount of caloric output that you're putting your body through, you're going to start to cut. So a lot of my guys that I train when we first start, even though we're on a bulk, their body composition is already actually changing. They're actually losing fat because now we have a structured diet plan, we have a structured workout plan, and we're sticking with it, which is cool. So then once we do have a bulk, man, those calories get utilized better. Let's get into it again. Oh man. Like I have some trips coming up that I want to show you guys. I'll put it on the channel. So, I want to make sure when that shirt comes off, we want to make sure we are in that tip top shape, so and I'm gonna say it again. I'm an old fart. So I don't want to, I'm just still making sure, you know, I don't ever want to be the dad bod old man who looks sloppy, who just gave up, right? I still want to go, and people are shocked when I say I'm 42. I want people to still think, I'm in my 30s, right? That's the thing for me. You know, that's huge for me. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are like super young, and it's like, trust me, guys, when you get into your 40s, it's crazy because the majority of dudes that I know, 40 plus, they're just now starting to work out. So that's something, so shout out to you guys. Something that I admire about the younger generation. I sound like I sound like an old man. Well, one thing I do admire with you guys are getting to that workout phase now. You guys get into that body game early. If you can just keep that mindset, throughout your life, You guys are gonna be just fine. That's something that I had in my 20s. Like I started in my teens. I started working out when I was like 17, 18. And I was just like, man, I gotta keep this thing going. When all else is like, things are failing in life, I'm going through things in life. The gym was something that I just kept going. That was always like an anchor for me. When I was going through problems and ups and downs in life, the gym was like a true anchor for me. I always had a gym membership, or I was always able to like hop on, and somebody with a buddy pass, or I knew a dude who owned a gym. I was able to get in there. It really became an anchor, and it saved my life in a multitude of different ways. That's why the gym is so important. It's not just about swole and getting jacked and all of that. Guys, I've been jacked the majority of my life at this point, right? That doesn't move me. That doesn't do anything for me. The discipline that it's created, it changed my life. The discipline that you can freaking create and have with training is a superpower, is a superpower. And you could be unstoppable, because the majority of people in this world, it's two scenarios. They don't have discipline, and the ones that do are the ones that are moving the needle and getting things done. They're not better than you. They're not smarter than you. They're just seeing it all the way through. And if you guys can keep that, I'm telling you, when I show, like, when I travel and this, whatever success I might have gotten, it's because I was disciplined enough to stay the course, learn it, do what I had to do. And I got that from training. I got that from jujitsu. Guys, 20 plus years, I've been doing this shit, 20 plus years. Like I said, some of you guys, I've been doing it for as long as you've been on this earth, but it's what it taught me mentally is what has been the biggest, biggest, biggest plus for me. It's what it's taught me mentally. I'm not trying to go on this tangent. I'm not trying to go on a rant or anything like that, but it's so true. It's so freaking true. And if you can adopt that, I promise you, you'll be rewarded. Now, it's going to require some sacrifice. It's going to require some sacrifice. A lot of things you're going to start saying no to. It's not so much about what you start adding in your life. It's what you will start having to remove from your life, if that makes sense. you know Even now, it's still a lot of sacrifice. It's still a lot of turning things down. No, I'm not coming. No, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. If it's not, even in my businesses, if at any moment it interferes with me not able to train, it interferes with my edge, I don't want it. It's bad business. You know, People know, don't call me to go out. People know I'm not coming to this. I'm not coming to that. I'm not interested, you know, because we got to train. We have to stay disciplined. I got to keep my edge. My edge has been what has gotten me to this dance. My edge is what has allowed me to stay consistent and allowed me to have success. And the minute anything, I don't care what it is, that interferes, keep it. Not everyone can do that. Not everyone is willing to do that, because people still need that external validation. With Jesus, was just with your higher self. Well, the thing is, getting a relationship with a higher power is getting a relationship with yourself. Because isn't it what they say? Isn't God in all of us? Isn't that what they say? God is in all of us. So get a relationship with yourself. Stir bond. Well, I don't want to. I don't want to. I gotta keep. I always forget to put do not disturb, and then when the phone rings, it cuts the stream. All right, we're good. So I know a lot of people don't like doing the pull downs with on a chest day. I don't know. I still like doing it on the chest day. I don't know why. It's just still one of my favorite exercises. I don't know how much, you know, effect it does have on pec growth, but I don't know. I feel it has like a good squeeze. I don't know. I like it. Still just a good exercise. So I want to hit this a couple sets, uh, and then we'll keep it moving. Oh man, that's a tough one. I like both because I was actually going to switch the grip in a second and go to the rope. Bro, never, never let them make you feel so. Ah, because at the end, listen, the same people that are like, you're, oh, bro, it's all about you and you're being selfish, you're being this and that. They're going to be the ones asking you, hey, man, I put on 10 pounds. What do you think's the best? Well, screw them. You're going to find those who understand. You're going to find your tribe. Or you know what, bro? You might not even find your tribe. Let's go a step further. You might be in this by yourself, like I am. You know, that's what I train alone. Like I said, it's not a big friend group, and it may just be like that, and that's all right too. And in some cases, I think it's even better because it really teaches you self-reliance. You know, I talk about the discipline, but as you go through this crazy ass world, self-reliance is the key, where you don't need anybody to say, hey, bro, you going to the gym today? Hey, bro, you working on your business? Hey, bro, do you do the extra? None of that. You just know what you need to do. Okay, I like that. This dude is looking like a Gears of War character. That was a good one. That was a good one. I used to be a huge, many years ago, old man over here. I used to be a huge Gears of War like fanatic, Xbox 360, all of that. And I exactly that was good. That was original. I'm gonna take that as a compliment. All I need is a chainsaw. I do think, but you know what? For these grips, I do think I like the rope better for chest. Damn, what was the black dude's name? Let me see if I can find the rope. Oh, damn, you took me back with Gears of War. That's crazy. Cole Trade. That's what's because the former football player. Yes. Damn, that was crazy. Ah, those were the days. Those were the days when I could just sit and just play for like 6 hours multiplayer. Damn. Thrash ball. Thrash ball. Holy crap. Yeah, those were the days. I can't even lie. Those were the days. I said like when things kind of slow down a little. I don't think things will ever slow down. But when I can maybe allocate some more free time, if whenever that might happen, I definitely want to get back into gaming. Like I don't know. It's just I'm an old man, but I don't know, still like a freaking kid at the end of the day. That's crazy. That's crazy. But I appreciate that. Yeah, Gears of War. That used to be my game. Like, let's say it one more time, guys. Come on. Let's stay focused. Let me stay focused. I had a flashback. Let's go. Ugh. Man. So I do want to go right into lateral raises now. And then we can come back and hit these triceps. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Hopefully one day you've inspired me to get back into it. Is Gears of War still even, is there a new one even out or are they remaking it? Like, I don't even know. Yeah, like whatever happened to it? All right, let's hit these shoulders. Salute, Andrew. I appreciate it, brother. We're in here. We're in the trenches. So, shout out to all you guys. Actually, you know what? Let's hit some cables right here. I would like to hit some cables right here. No, let's hit the dumbbells. I haven't hit those consistently this week. Shout out to you guys for sticking with me. There was a time when I used to be in the stream, nobody be in here. I'm just talking to myself, looking like a dork. I mean, I'm still a dork, but at least I got company. I'm low key one of the biggest nerds out here. Man, I do remember when they remade it. That's crazy. Like, that game was so much fun. I mean, I used to just play that for hours. Like it was an addiction. Like how people like loved Halo and all of that. Like I was a Gears guy. I mean, and this is coming from someone who was a PlayStation guy initially, and then I hopped over to Xbox. Yeah, that's crazy. 10 years old. At 10 years old, what was I playing at 10? So 10 years old, that was 1994 for me. So I think Super Nintendo just dropped, and that was like the highlight. I think I was still on Sega Genesis. So yes, Streets of Rage. I don't even know if you guys even heard of those games before. 1994, I was playing. Okay, nobody's gonna know this one. So you guys heard Sega Genesis. They had something that came out called Sega CD. This is when they were going from cartridges to CDs. You'd have to buy this big ass machine and attach it to your Sega Genesis, and then you could start using CDs. So now you can start using, now the game started to go 3D models. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. This old man is just trying to stay, not even young, just trying to slow down the clock. All right, let's go again. Let's go again before I start nerding out some more. This is why I be solo, guys. Like, this is why I'm a loner, because I was talking about games and wanting to drink protein shakes. Nobody wanted to hear that. They were trying to get girls. I'm not playing. I was for real, like a real. I was really into it. 1994. I'm buying Game Pro magazine. Okay, I think Sonic and Knuckles just dropped. Street Fighter 2 Turbo was popular. Guys, I wasn't playing back then. I was going to the arcades. At that point, I was living in New York at the time, uh, and I would take the train down to Chinatown, where they would have all the arcades, and I was playing. I'll even go a step further. Let's get really crazy. So around that time, so you had Super Nintendo, then you started to hear about the Japanese version of Super Nintendo. It was called Super Famicom, and that's when everyone was trying to get Super Famicom because they had a whole new different types of games out there. Shoot, and Nintendo 64, come on now. I was I, okay. I didn't have the money to buy a Nintendo 64 yet. So around that time when Blockbuster was out, you could rent them. You could rent like a Nintendo 64. So I used to just rent it for like the weekend. It was crazy. It was crazy. And that's when I was into anime. It was, yeah. So that's how, I'm gonna get into the next set. That's how I started to get, okay, so this is 94. So this is when I started to learn about like, Japan, just different countries. Fast forward, that's what got me into wanting to travel because playing Street Fighter 2, you hear about Thailand, it's Sagat, Japan with Super Famicom, all the games and anime. And then I'm like, you know what, one of these days I want to travel to these places. And then like fast forward now, 2016, I went to Japan. I go to Thailand often. And I like to travel and stuff like that. So it's kind of crazy how that's what is just so, man. It's even like thinking about it's crazy. It's so crazy how like that idea of like playing it and just seeing these places, literally 20 years, 30 years, yeah, 20 years, 30 years. It's like I'm at these places. Come on now. Don't get me started with Neo Geo. Come on now. Come on now. Jesus. Because now we're getting into like the Fatal Furies and oh, come on now. Right. What's up, brother? And guys, remember, there's no internet yet. You know, the internet just kind of became a thing 95, early like mid 94, but like you're doing this via like magazines and finding out all about this stuff. There's no internet yet. Let's go one more set. Oh, Neo Geo, because everyone was so concerned about like, okay, Genesis, all right, you know, freaking Super Nintendo, but no, Neo Geo was really where it's at. That was its own little, like it was like almost like a subgenre. 100% know about Neo. I didn't have it, but like I know a dude who had it. This older dude, like he just had money, and he could afford all that stuff. It was crazy. I I miss those days. I can't even lie. But yeah, it was like a real, I was a real deal gamer, guys. It was a simpler time. It was just fun. Like I was just I don't have fun anymore, really. You know what I mean? Like I think that's kind of the biggest part of it. Like I was just having fun back then. And now it's like it's not so much or I don't have much fun. It's everything is business. Everything is, you know, you got to weigh pros and cons and you know is this conducive to you know your career and this and that. And it's like it's so much simpler than I don't know. Even like when I take like trips, right? Like I travel, like traveling's like a real big thing for me. That's the only thing where I can say, okay, I enjoy it. I'm having fun, quote unquote. But even not really, right? Because every time I travel, what am I doing? I'm networking also. Um, you know, seeing what business opportunities are out there. You know, it's all this other stuff. Instead of just taking it in, I'm shooting content. You know, mind you, super. Actually, you know what? I said I was going to do cables, but mind you, I'm blessed and I'm grateful. Right? I'm not. Let me not be the guy be like, oh man, I'm traveling again. This is so. I'm not having fun. No, but back then I'm not thinking about monetizing. I'm not thinking about, you know, like, comment, subscribe. I'm not thinking about any of those things. It's just in the moment. You know, it's crazy. Let me hold on. Let me put the camera down. Guys, I got some stories. You know what's so crazy? And this is why I'm always like, with like people that are like younger, anyone that I know that's younger, if you got an idea, you have like a dream about something, like just go and do that shit, right? Because back then, I was even talking about cameras back then because I was so like into what else is like out there. So if you're looking at Japanese culture, you're looking at all these cultures, you start seeing their technology, you start seeing their tech, I got introduced to cameras back then. And I was just like, man, I think this could be big one day. Now, the group that was like people that are around me, they're looking at me like, bro, if you don't shut your dork ass up, what are you talking about? And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. And then lo and behold, we see what cameras doing now. But this is why I always tell people, man, if you have an idea, you got a goal, you got a dream, man, just see it through. I don't care how crazy, how far out it is, because I kick myself. I mean, there were some things I was thinking about back then that became what it was now. Now, mind you, if I say it, it's like, oh, of course, bro. How do you know? But it's like, no, it's serious. So even now, my mentality is, man, if I have an idea, if I have a dream, there's something I want to do. Perfect example, traveling. You know, I used to think, man, I could never travel to Thailand, for example. I've been to Thailand 4 times, you know, and I'll be going back soon. Like I travel often now. That used to be such a far-fetched like dream. You know, I didn't have a passport for half of my life. And then now at this point in my life, if I wanted to go wherever, I could book the ticket and go, you know. But I say that to say it's not a flex, but it's to say, hey man, go and do it. Go try. Go believe. Believe in yourself. That's why I was saying earlier that self-reliance is so key. Don't rely on anybody because your dreams and aspirations are not going to be, you know, in line with others. They're not going to see it how you see it. Man, dude was looking at Japan way back then. I remember when my oldest sister's boyfriend was introduced me to Japanese copy of Demon Souls. Exactly. That's bro, it was crazy. So, okay, 90s, they used to have like these like conventions to where you can go and get like the latest anime. Basically, dudes were just going out there and just buying up all sorts of anime, you know, Japanese copies of video games, Super Famicom, things like that, and bringing it down. So they would have conventions in New York, or you would go down to Chinatown and you would just see it was a completely different world. So, for example, Street Fighter 2, like that was one of my favorite animes back then. There was a Japanese version of Street Fighter 2 where it was gorier, they had more blood. Now you can see it on YouTube. Right now it's easy to see. But back then, when we had the Japanese unedited version, that's when they were showing like Chun-Li's boobs. When Ryu did the all you can on Sagat, the Japanese version, they show the blood splatter on the scar. In the American version, they used to edit that out. I was blown away by all of that. You got to understand, I'm 10 years old. I'm 9. I was like, what the hell is this? It was crazy. It was crazy. And I had an older brother, and he was a dork. He was a nerd. So he was like kind of on the edge too. He's the one he was the first guy that I knew who had a brought dial-up connection, brought a modem into our apartment. You know, I was like, what the hell is it? It was a 28.8 dial-up modem. Once we got the internet connection, I was like, oh, this is the greatest thing on the planet. This is 1995. He brought home a 28.8 dial-up modem. We were living in New York. We were living in the Bronx. And I'm like, wait, this is what is this called? Internet? It was so much. It was crazy. It was, and you had to find like you had to go to New York, you had to go down to Chinatown, you had to go down to these places, you had to go to the arcades to see what was going on, or you wouldn't know. There was no way of knowing what was going on. You had to get the magazines. Uh, th- there was some pirate radio stations back then where you can kind of listen in, and it was basically like a low key podcast. They talk about it. It was absolutely insane. Everything was wide open then too. You know, there's no cameras. Like it was just crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And then that was kind of like my introduction to all of that. And then just it just kept on growing and growing and growing. Then you get a little bit more money, you can start buying these things. Then you know, you, once the internet did come into play, then it's really wide open. We had dial-up. We went from 28 a 28.8 modem, then you go to a 56K, um, then you go 128. That was the next one up. Then you go with the cable modem, and if you had a cable modem back then, you were just the freaking guy. You were the man. It's a unique pipeline, like like, but the connection is there in a way because even back then I was always like a loner, right? It was just, my brothers were like 8 years older than me. I didn't have much of a friend group back then. So gaming and just kind of being, by yourself, gaming was my thing. Similar to like with the gym, I'm still more like a loner, more of an introverted kind of guy, even though, you know, I'm streaming and I'm doing videos, but I'm more of a to myself kind of guy. And the gym gives me that solitude. Traveling is another one. It gives me solitude when I travel. So it's a real interesting connection how it works. You know, I feel gaming. I know people have their, they talk down on it. I think gaming is helpful. It helped me out. You know, as with anything, it could become an addiction, and any addiction could spiral out of control. But you know what? I'm addicted to training. I'm addicted to working out. I know that for a fact. But I could be addicted to many other things. You know, if it wasn't for gaming, I would have gotten introduced to tech. If I wouldn't have gotten introduced to tech early, I don't know how I would have had a passion for tech the way I have it now. I don't know. I don't know, bro. Dial-up modem, and if someone else picks up the phone in your house and then hangs it up, it disconnects. Come on, don't play with me. I was there for all of this. Yeah, but those were the days. Those were the days. Those were the days. I said to myself, like, I definitely want to get back into it because now I have the resources that I could buy all this stuff. Now it's like, I could get the systems. Back then, I didn't have any money, so it was just a lot of I was just watching and observing. I was going to the arcades, but I couldn't play any of it, so I was just watching others play and learning and this and that. It's crazy. It was absolutely insane. And mind you, like I said, I'm 9, I'm 10, going to all these places. You know what I mean? But it definitely shaped. Looking back at it, it 100% shaped me, for sure. But the moral of the story is, man, guys, if there's something you want to do, t- go and do it. You know what? So I'm like the friendliest dude on the planet. Like, I appreciate it, but bro, I be wanting no problems. And I've been doing jujitsu for 13 years, and people are always asking, like, bro, like, you're the badass and blah blah blah. It's like, look, guys, I'm the first one to say, hey, let's walk away. I want no issues with nobody. It's crazy. The world changes, bro. Like, damn, I'm 42 years old. Like, that's freaking, I remember when I had hair. Like, you know, I remember when, like, I used to have a full head of hair. It's crazy. And it's getting faster. Shoot, I remember when I was like 40 and now 42. So it's like, man, I always tell people and tell myself, like, I don't wait. I really don't ask for a lot of permission. I don't ask for permission. It's like, I'm gonna go do it. Don't give it my identity. But once again, why jujitsu? Like why even like it's been 13 years, right? Here comes that addictive personality. Once I start something, it's like how gaming was for me. You know, you learning the like I wasn't really into like a lot of fighting games, you know, from Street Fighter 2 Turbo, you know, Street Fighter Alpha. You know, I remember when it went to 3D, like I was into all of that. Just being a Tekken 1, Tekken 2, I was there for all of that. Learning it, I became obsessed with it. Same thing with jujitsu. Once I started it, I was like, wait, so the moves are just endless? It's endless amounts of techniques you can learn in jiu-jitsu. It spoke right to my personality. You see these cauliflower ears? Look at this. Lifting weights, same thing. You know, there's always something new to learn, learning your body, you know, different programs, supplements, this, that. It speaks to my personality. It speaks to my addictive personality. Come on, bro. Come on. King, Nina Williams, I would buy the book. You know, because once again, there's no internet. Well, there was, but it's like, well, no, it was still fairly new, but you'd have to buy the book to learn all the chain moves for like King and Nina Williams, like, and or Anna Williams, depending who you want to play with. I was buying the books, trying to learn it. Come on, man. Or taking it to the learning it, then going to the arcade to do it. Come on, guys. This was crazy. I bet you didn't know there was a Tekken anime, which was pretty good. It was all right. It was okay. The Tekken anime was kind of like a espionage kind of movie. It was okay. It was all right. There was the Fatal Fury anime where it was like kind of following Terry Bogart's story. That was pretty cool. Oh, I tried playing one day because you know, I gotta say I have like a nephew who's in his 20s and some of like people I know like their sons and their kids play. I tried playing one day multiplayer. I just I just put the controller down. I was getting destroyed so bad. I'm like, what is this? What do you guys what is this witchcraft that you guys are learning? How you guys I was getting cooked. It was fun though. It just showed me how like how out the loop I was. But it was a fun era. But yeah, that Japan trip, when I took that Japan trip, that was really cool. Like they're on a whole completely different level out there. I went to Tokyo, the tech, the way it's integrated within the city, different type of beast. Different type of beast. It was almost like too much. And then I went to like Kyoto, which is like more rural. Like Kyoto, they're known for like the cherry blossom season. That was more my speed. I was like, I need to slow down. Yeah, it's like everyone's a beast now. Well, because it's business now also. Now you can legitimately, you're building businesses off of gaming. Like you can build a career and make money off of gaming. So people are dedicating, which is what we were doing back then. This is what I was doing back then. I didn't know you could make something out of it. I didn't know you can make money out of this. When I'm building computers back in the day, because I was poor, so I couldn't actually buy, the full setup. So I had to buy the parts. Back in the day, once again, you have to go to computer conventions. You would have to get like the local PC magazine and it let you know when the next convention was happening in your area. And then you would have to go there and then you have to purchase the motherboard, purchase all the pieces, then take it home and then build it. I didn't know I could there's a career out of this. I'm doing it because I'm poor. Like, what are we fucking talking about? I was like, wait. So you mean to tell me I could have been damn near a millionaire? But yeah, I was doing all these things because I had no money. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm buying used parts. For Christmas, I'm getting a motherboard. Like, I didn't know these things. Then I'm getting into the pirated stuff. I didn't know. I was like, wait, now we see what it is. I was like, damn, I was there for all that. It was crazy. That's why people kind of wonder. It's like, bro, you're like you look like the muscle head, but you're into all this like tech and all that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, yeah, because before all this tech, and before the gym, and before any of this, yeah, I mean, still am. I'm a tech guy. The physique and the look. I mean, it's just a byproduct of like discipline, right? Like it doesn't necessarily define me. The physique doesn't define me. My discipline is a different story. My discipline is a representation. My physique is a representation of my discipline, you know. But yeah, like before the 90s, I was tech was like my friend, games, yeah, that's what I was doing. And that's why I'm have such an affinity now with the cameras and build businesses off of it. Because I literally have a passion for 30 years, you know, into tech, into cameras. So yeah, I'm just a swole dork at the end of the day who can choke people out. I think that kind of sums me up or yeah, that kind of sums me up in a way, right? Like, whew, man, everybody needs to know tech in some form or fashion. So I actually got certified in in AWS as a solution AWS solutions architect. I took I went to Udemy, I bought the courses, and then I took the test and I passed it, just so I can just learn. I first got the what was it, the cloud architect. I know that doesn't count. I got that one, and I'm like, all right, let's get the courses for the solution architect. So I went ahead and got it, studied for it. I mean, because I wanted to learn it, right? Like I'm on these things all the time, and then I passed it. So I have that, you know, but I'm not using it for anything, but I do have it. Yo, QC, it's facts. I'm a swole dork at the end of the day. That's why they're like, I don't know. That's just me. I try to pretend to be the cool guy. Trust me, you know, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I can't, I don't take myself that seriously. I mean, how can I when I got these short shorts on and I'm wearing turquoise socks? It's you can't really take yourself that serious, bro. QC, I appreciate you. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that, Tonka. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. Some days I'd be like, I don't know, but I appreciate it. It's too late to change now. I'm pretty much set in my ways. You know, I'm pretty much set in my ways. It's too late to change. Once you get, I mean, you're always gonna evolve as a person, but I felt once I got into those my mid to late 30s, it was like I realized like this is pretty much who I'm gonna be. You know, you're gonna grow. You always want to grow, but just like when I realized like, okay, you're not getting any taller. Once I came to grips with that, I was like, damn, okay. Once I realized like, oh shoot, I'm already taller than my dad. I was like, oh, okay, all right. Well, I guess it's time to get big. Same thing like with my personality. It's like, this is just who I am, you know. Trust me, I tried. I see the YouTube videos. I watched the YouTube videos about being the cool dude and all of that. I watched it. I tried it. I tried to take the lessons. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like I said, I can't be that cool in short shorts and I'm wearing turquoise socks. Like it's just not gonna happen. And I'm wearing the tightest shirt on the planet. This shirt is way too tight. But this is just who I am. And be cool. And I'm cool with that, right? And it's like embrace it, And you guys out there embrace it. Embrace yourself, embrace your uniqueness. We need more of it. I wish I embraced it sooner. I wish I embraced it in my earlier years. My life would have been very much different. It's so interesting. A lot of things that I had an interest in and a passion on that I kind of fell to the wayside because it wasn't cool or, my friend group at the time, they were looking at me like I'm crazy. Man, if I would have stuck with that 5 years, 10 years, oh my God, there's no telling where life would have taken me. But at the end of the day, you know, everything happens for a reason. You know, the plans and what the higher power has for you, it's just what it is. You know, having hindsight, I do try to share it and say, hey, for those out there who are younger and you are trying to navigate through this life and you have questions and you're looking for answers, trust yourself, go within. That is something, that is something powerful, to be willing just to go within and to listen to yourself, listen to your thoughts, you know turning off the music, turning off the podcast, and just going within and saying, who am I? What do I like? What am I interested in? Not who am I trying to please, or not what I like because this person is saying I should like it, but what do I truly like? Yeah, you got to, you got to, you know. I tell you what, though, if I would have followed through on some of these things, I would have been a richer man. I could 100% guarantee that, But it's all good. It's all good. We're here now. I'm blessed. I'm thankful. Things could have been different. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. This has probably been the best stream I've ever had. And I really say that honestly. I really appreciate you guys. You know, I really appreciate you guys. This has been one of the best ones. It gave me an opportunity to take a walk down memory lane for me. Like, damn, I remember those days. So it was really cool. I appreciate you guys. But hey, I will be streaming again. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Um, if you want to reach out to me, you can hit me on IG. Same handle, the Fortified Man. You'll see all the content. And yeah, we're gonna keep it moving. So I appreciate you guys. We got more in the way, man. I appreciate you, guys. I truly appreciate you, man. You guys made my day. It's been one of the best workouts I've had in a while. This has been super cool. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Check out some of the videos. Got some travel stuff coming up too. So I'll be putting more of the travel content on here. And yeah, if you got any suggestions, what you might want to see more of, I definitely have more travel stuff coming that I want to put out. And yeah, we can keep, lifting these weights, keep getting swole. I don't know, and keep it moving. All right, guys, later.